Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the van build. If you are new here, my name is Daniel, and I'm currently working on self-converting this Sprinter van into a camper van for me to live out of. My dad and I have been working on this for about the past 2 months-ish, but not everything you see here was built within the last 2 months. For the past almost 3 years now, I've been living and traveling out of it off and on, as well as building it. And just haven't gotten around to finishing it completely. But this time, we are going to finish it. And as you can see, we've got most of it done. But there are a few things that we have not finished yet. The sink faucet, my water system, that's going to go there. That is the tank that you're looking at right now. The bed is finished. I just took it out because it'll be a lot easier to work down here without having to be underneath the bed the whole time. There's a couple cabinet doors that need to be put on, some under LED lighting. This one actually got done the other week. I can show you guys that later. And these two, I'm going to do basically the same thing with under lighting as well. I'm not quite sure what actually we're going to do in this video, but I'm gonna figure that out right now and get started. Alright, so we got our water tank in place. I just set it here so you guys can see how it'll sit, but it hangs over our wheel well box by maybe 3 inches or so. So I'm going to be putting a piece of plywood underneath it just to fully support it. I might have the piece of plywood go out further just so there's like more shelf space here for me to set things on top of. So it'll just be screwed into this wheel well box here. And then we'll probably do some pocket hole screws into this piece of wood. And then we'll have that's a 20-gallon tank. And then we'll have it strapped there with some metal tape. Okay, so we cut a piece of melamine for this shelf that's going to hold the water tank. Hopefully, might be. No? Or not. It's fine. So the water tank will sit on top of here, and this will just be an extra shelf. And then I think we're gonna cut another piece of board right here to hold the water tank in place, and it'll be attached to these 2x4 support beams for the bed, just because I think that will be more of a permanent and better way to keep the water tank in place than metal tape. So I got one of the 2x4 support beams in here, and I am gonna measure here to get the size of our board, just slightly over 12¼ inches. We cut some cleats out of just like a 1x3 for both sides here of the water tank, just to keep it from moving back and forth since there is space on both sides. So I'm going to screw those in. That'll keep it in place that way. We haven't cut this piece of wood yet, but we're going to do that next. So we cut this piece of wood here, and we're just going to do some pocket hole screws down into this piece of wood and up into the 2x4s that run across and support the mattress pieces. That's going to be about everything that we finish tonight, because I got work tomorrow. We got all of our, or at least most of our pieces for our plumbing down there. Our tubing is outside and our pump, but we can't put this all in permanently until we get our lines routed to the sink. And we'll start on that tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day after work. So we got that installed, we got our piece of wood cut, we got our tank, and then here is our sink faucet. So it's kind of one of those sink faucets that you can extend. And that's gonna go right through here. So we're gonna install that right now. And then we can start connecting everything, run our lines. I gotta drill a hole down there for the water line, and then we can connect it there and put everything in place. We're missing, I think, only one thing, maybe some more pieces that I don't know of yet, but we're missing the drain that's gonna go from the bottom of the sink to this gray water container. But I think we have everything else, so we're gonna get started on that right now. So I'm starting to think that maybe this could have been done outside because this is like really awkward.
Well, the sink is not attached.
I'm not talking to you. See what I have to deal with. Anyways, so yeah, but he does make a good point. The sink is not attached, but I am underneath the sink right now and trying to get this guy screwed on to that threaded piece there. But yeah, we could actually try doing this outside, because then I don't have to be stuck in here like this. Oh. Okay, so we got our cold and hot water lines connected, and also this is screwed in tightly, so this can't move anymore. Then we also put the little weight or gravity ball here so that it'll pull the sink head back up. Then we got to install the drain, and we got plumber's putty for that, as well as around the edging. And then we can start working on the water line, I think. We now have our sink installed, so we put plumber's putty all the way around this edge here on the lip, and then as well as when we install the drain. And it's got this little, I guess, food collector thing that also acts as a plug as well if you put it down. And then it also comes with this piece that I guess just kind of sits on top to make it look pretty. And it does. Either way, it looks good. And this just kind of sits there. It doesn't really have any other purpose. So this is in completely, and it'll be able to swing to either side to kind of give me some more room. And then I guess I could use this to take showers outside. But I do plan to buy like this faucet head can unscrew from here, and I'll just have to find something that can fit the same threading so I can make it longer and be able to pull it out farther, so I don't get my countertop and everything wet here, if I decide to do that. Then it also comes with this, I guess this is to like keep the sink from being scratched by like pots and pans and stuff, or any dishes, knives probably too. And that just sits down there like that. It's got some rubber feet and some extras here. And we've also got a drying rack here that just kind of rolls out, and they can sit on top of here, and you could probably have some dishes drying in there as well. You've probably already seen this already, but this is just the cutting board it comes with. It is obviously a very different color from the rest of the van. It's not the end of the world, and I really don't care that much. And that just kind of sits on top, so this is like all counter space if I'm not using the sink. Alright, so these are all our parts for our water line and water system for the van. So underneath we've got our hot and cold here. These are actually going to be connected to a T because I am not going to have a water heater in my van. I just don't really think that hot water is that important to me, at least not for washing dishes. Sure, it would be nice, but it does use up a ton of electricity to heat water. Anything that is electric and has a heating element is a big power draw generally. So I didn't want to do that, and I don't know. There's definitely space in the van to do it in the future, and my water system is going to be set up so that I will be able to add one if I find that I want to later on down the road, but for now, that's not what we're going to do. I drilled a hole here for the water line just above our propane line there. But I found out that the water tubing that I got here is only rated for 45 PSI, which is not enough because the pump's cutoff is about 80. So it would end up ballooning the line and possibly blowing it up or making it leak or whatever. So we got to get some stronger line for the water. I said I was going to show you this earlier, but my dad last Saturday worked on, none of this got filmed, but he worked on the LED underlighting, at least on this cabinet. We're still going to do that one and that one. It was a pain. I helped him put it up and it was very frustrating, but we got different colors and such, so probably looks better without the light on, but this is probably about how I view it from my height, so I think it looks pretty good. This will at least give some lighting in the van so that I do not have to turn on these overhead lights, and I can just kind of turn on these so I can see a bit, and just kind of for some back lighting. But anyways, very nice, but we'll be working on those later. We do need to buy a drain pipe still, so we got to get that as well. This is our water pump right here. It's a 1 gallon per minute pump. I need to run more wire for it through here, and I also need to get a 12-volt switch for that to turn it off and on. So we're missing some things. I made a list on my phone, but we'll have to get those probably on Sunday, which means next video. But for now, I think that's going to be about all for today, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. So we had a shopping trip to Home Depot today to get a lot of the stuff that I mentioned yesterday that we were going to need. So we got some much stronger tubing for our water line. Kind of overkill on that one, but at least then I know for sure it's not going to blow up on me. We got our sink drain pipe here, and these straps are to hold this in place, or just one of them. The other one is then for the fridge, to keep the fridge slide from sliding out. We got some RTV, and then a bunch of different fittings here for the water fill up on the water tank. Needed some small drill bits like this for something else, and just some other random things, hinges, latches for other things on the van, and a 12-volt switch for the pump. So now I'm going to start putting together the water line system, and then we can permanently install our tank, screw that board all together so it'll hold everything in place. Alright, so we got a few things done. Not too much because we didn't have that much time tonight. But basically we've got our hot and cold water connected with a T here. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, we're not doing a hot water system in here. And so our water line is going to connect here and go right through this hole here. It'll exit the hole over there. Our water pump is sitting right here. We're not sure where it's going to go. It might go up here or sit flat, or be somewhere inside of there. And then here on the tank, we do have it in place, but again, it is not permanent yet because we got to test the whole water system for leaks first. This is our water fill up right here. And actually I bought a hose already. It's here in this little compartment down here. So this would screw on here for the water fill up and then go out to the spigot. This is where our water comes from for the sink. So I put RTB around these joints here, and that line goes behind the tank, comes out over here. It's going to connect to our pump. The line's going to go from the pump through the hole opening there, down under the sink, and then connect to those two lines there. And that's pretty much it. It's a fairly simple water system, but I'm going to let this stuff dry up, and I'm going to go inside the house because it's a little bit late now, and we'll pick this up in the morning. Hello once again. It is Saturday evening now, or afternoon, and we've done a little bit more here off camera. The water tank is still not permanently installed, but we do have the water pump here, and we've got all the tubing connected. The tube is just sitting in there. We haven't connected it to the sink yet. We haven't done the drain, and I did also kind of clean up some of these wires here so they're not all over the place. Now we've got this 12-volt switch here that we need to install in the wall up there by the sink, and that's going to be the switch to turn the pump on and off easily. So we're going to do that now. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Okay, so first thing that needs to be done is I need to move the sink out of the way and take off this cover here so we can kind of get back into the wall and connect our switch. Okay, so never mind, this is not going to work this way because I forgot that we have another outlet up here that the wire also connects from here, so we couldn't pull this out because it gets caught on these wires. So we're not going to mess with that. We're just going to drill a hole in the wall instead, or cut one out with the Dremel, and then feed our wire down into the wall. We cut this hole out with a Dremel and a router bit. We've got this hanger sticking through from the hole down there to here. We're going to use that to try to pull the wire up through to be able to connect our switch. All this could have been avoided if, well, I built the van all at once and actually planned everything out from the beginning, but it is what it is. So all of this is hooked up for the pump, and we finally were able to get the wire through this hole and up here, but the switch broke, so we're still going to test it out once we finish the drain system down here, but I already have the water line hooked up, so if we did have water in there, we would be able to get water out of the sink. But we got to hook up this drain pipe to our gray water tank, and then also I want to get it strapped down there and secured, and then once that's done, we should be good to put on the door for this, which I have not cut yet. But speaking of doors, while Dad was doing most of the work on that switch, I started putting the hinges on this cabinet door that goes right there, because we finally got some of these drill bits that will work in the impact driver because it's a lot shorter and will actually fit in here, so we'll be able to drill our pilot holes and screw them in as well. So we will finally get that installed, maybe that door, but we are going inside for dinner. Okay, we're back from dinner and we've got our gray water tank here, and this doesn't exactly fit right, but I think it's pretty solid for now. It'll work. And this guy is going to connect onto the bottom of our sink drain here, and that's pretty much it. Then we can test and put a little bit of water in our water tank and test our faucet. So, well, you probably can't see that much, but I've got my hose connected to a garden hose for the house. And then we've got it connected here to the tank. We're using a quick disconnect, and then this is the hose that I bought that I'm going to be taking with me for filling up the water tank. And the reason why we're using flashlights is because, well, bugs are attracted to light, and they were getting all over the place with the van lights on. We're going to try this right now and hope that it doesn't leak. All right, well, we got it filling up.
No water over there.
Yet. Okay, so I closed up the back doors because there's just way too many bugs in here. Dad's trying to fend them all off right now. As you can see, we got a little bit of water in here. We did have some problems with pressure building up in the tank because I forgot to drill a hole in it. So I just did a temporary one down here with a drill bit, and we're going to attach something. We're going to use this hose that we hadn't used before, and I think we're going to have it go up through here just so that it'll release pressure that way. But we got it all hooked up now. We've got the drain pipe and the gray water tank down there, and even though there is currently not a switch connected, I think we're just going to take the wires off here and touch them together so we can at least test and see if everything works well. Okay, turn it on. It's kind of loud, but that was to be expected, I guess. Not a whole lot of pressure. Okay, so I'm excited that our water system is mostly functioning, although it's not complete yet. And this kind of worked out too because this is too long, so it kind of works as a P-trap basically for this. But you can hear the water in there, so it was draining out into it. Now we got to work on strapping this jug to the wall so it doesn't slide around and fall out while I'm driving. We bought these straps here. I think I showed them to you guys earlier, and they're nice because they've got this little piece of rubber on the back side so it won't like rub up against this. It's the same thing I'm going to use for the fridge too, so it won't damage my fridge also. But we've got these little, I guess, mending plates, these little pieces of metal here that we're going to screw. We're going to screw two of them into this back wall here, one right there and then one further down, and we're going to screw them on top of the strap, and then we'll be able to wrap the strap around this thing, and that'll keep that in place. We got the gray water tank strapped in. It does have the ability to move a little bit, but I don't think that's too terrible. It's definitely, it can't move out this way at all. It can only move just slightly, but it's pretty tight, so I think it's secure. Now I got a little bit of space next to it for cleaning supplies or whatever else I decide to keep underneath the sink. Alright, so I just installed this little pantry door, cabinet door there. It doesn't have a latch yet, but I'll probably do that later, but works just fine. We got 3 shelves there. Still got to put a piece of board on top of that because it's got some space down there, but that'll be easy and quick. But this side is, all the cabinets are pretty much done now. All the doors are completed, so it's looking good. We got running water. Just got to finish up a few things on this before we can put our board on. That piece of board is supposed to go up against there to hold the water tank in place. And we got to cut out a door and install it right here too. But it's late, so I'm going to bed. Okay, so it's Sunday today, and we're in the car right now because we're going to head to my favorite hardware store, Menards. It's about an hour away from the house because there's a couple things that we need to pick up. So let's get going. Whoa. This is what happens when I try to film and drive at the same time. Don't do this, guys. so we're at Menards, and we cannot forget our Menards rebate, which is almost $70. So I keep forgetting it every time I come here, but I finally remembered this time. Okay, so we are picking up some extra flooring because we ran out, unfortunately. I think, actually, yeah, this is exactly what we used. It was called Carbon Gray, so we just got to pick up one of these. All right, we finished our shopping, and it turns out that I didn't have to pay anything because my rebate covered it all, and I still have $9 left, so happy about that. Okay, so I'm back in the van, and it is Monday, Labor Day today, and yeah, we could have done work all day long, but I'm kind of feeling under the weather, getting sick, and also we spent most of the day doing stuff for Mom and cleaning up our mess here in the garage. We've got like tons of boxes over there from stuff that came from the move 3 years ago, and we still haven't touched it, so we finally got to moving boxes into the house, so we spent a while doing that today. So it's like 10:40 right now, so it's kind of late, but I wanted to get one more thing done on the van before I finish this video, and that is getting the fridge in permanently. All we've got to do for that really is attach the strap similar to what we did there. So we're going to be using these metal pieces and putting one on each side here, and cutting the strap in half and having it just wrap around the front of the fridge to keep it from sliding out while I drive. And then also I wanted to cut a piece of this wood right here, the same stuff I used for all the cabinet and drawer faces, and just put it across here so that it kind of just covers up this and you won't be able to see the slides and underneath that. And I'm also hoping maybe it'll keep too much dirt from getting underneath there. Because it might get nasty under there after a while. So we're gonna get started on that right now. Alright, so we got our thin little piece of wood here, and it's just gonna sit up here, and unfortunately, because the fridge is kind of heavy, we had to leave kind of a larger gap there to compensate for the fact that this gets pushed down with the weight of the fridge when it's fully slid out. But it's not too bad, actually. It's hardly even noticeable. It's about maybe a 1/4 inch of a gap, maybe a little bit more. We're gonna go ahead and glue and nail it, and then that'll be all. We can go ahead and start attaching the straps. So we put both of these metal plates in, one on each side, and I've actually already cut this strap in half. I did that off camera, but then I need to use this lighter to melt the edge here on both straps so that it doesn't fray and get messed up. Okay, so I just loosened this plate a little bit, and then we're just gonna stick this through right here and tighten it back up. And then we're just folding it over like that, so that way the screw will go through twice. So here I'm just kind of guessing, more or less, and putting that screw back through. There, so we got that one on, this one on, and should be able to connect in the middle, and then pull it tight so our fridge can't move. Now we gotta go get the fridge. Okay, hold it. We got the fridge in here now. It's plugged in over on the other side, and now we can just slide it into place. And pretty much, I mean, this is just gonna work like a regular strap. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut this yet because it's a little bit too long, but I'll just slide it on through here. So this might be kind of annoying, you know, because I'll have to do this basically every time I want to move the van or, you know, start driving, but I don't know. It's just one of the things I'll have to get used to. No big deal. Not too inconvenient for the fact that my fridge will not go flying open while I'm driving. And I'll just roll that up and slip it behind there. Then shouldn't be able to move out while I'm driving. So, fridge is complete. And that's pretty much everything we're going to finish in this video. So, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.